and welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. In this one, I want to talk about the short book by Jean-François Lyotard called Why Philosophize? Why Philosophize? It's a great little treatise about why philosophy is still relevant, yes, because a lot of thinkers out there, you know, people from other disciplines, thinkers from other disciplines, such as physicists, scientists, mathematicians, they think philosophy is unnecessary, it's dead, it's a joke of a discipline. But I disagree. I disagree. I think philosophy is more relevant than ever before, because philosophy is a subject that can unify, yes, thoughts and ideas from different disciplines. I think this is the role of philosophy, and as Jean-François recognized, we philosophize for the simple reason that we cannot avoid doing so. It attests to the presence of lack in our speech. That is a brilliant quote. I definitely noticed this in my life when I was younger. I had kind of a lack in my speech. There's always a lack. There's always this gap, this void, yes, in our speech. We try to reach the heart of things, yes. We try to reach the inner essence of reality, yes. But we can never reach it, yes. But we still have to try, yes, I think. And this is why philosophy is so important. So, from the outside, perhaps, philosophy may seem like a useless affair. But I don't think so. I mean, philosophy is so useful. There's so many different types of philosophy. Existentialism, more typical strands of philosophy, such as, you know, Hegel, Kant, who built whole systems of thought. Yes, other, you know, unorthodox philosophers such as Kierkegaard, Nietzsche. Because to a degree they were existentialists, but they were kind of unique, weren't they, in their thinking, yes. And obviously we've got the pre-Socratics. I think they might be relevant now in our current times. And when we think of the pre-Socratics, I think the most important pre-Socratic philosopher was Heraclitus, yes, who talked about how everything is changing, everything is in flow and in flux, and this is how he interpreted reality. Yes, and it's a brilliant short treatise. Yes, by Jean-François Lyotard, and he was a postmodern thinker, and this is why I definitely subscribe myself to the postmodernist view, yes, to the postmodernist style of thought. We are in this postmodern age, and it's a new era, yes. A new era is appearing before our eyes, where cyberspace, yes, is starting to dominate our lives, yes, and we need to adapt. We need to adapt to the world of cyberspace. We need to be in the world of cyberspace, but also outside of it. We need to maintain that distance, yes, that gap. We need to have that healthy relationship to technology. And I think philosophy can help us. Philosophy can help us to create this gap, yes, I think, and to maintain this safe distance, safe and healthy distance to technology. But Jean-François Lyotard, he talks about many other things in this book, yes. He talks about how we can philosophize. I guess it's like a guide, yes. Because we are all philosophers, we can all philosophize. Philosophy is accessible to everyone. Don't trust these academics, these intellectuals who believe that they are superior, only they have access to the truth, These intellectuals, these academics, they look down on the common man. They think that he's stupid, that he's not capable of philosophy. He's not capable of thinking for himself. This is arrogance, and this treatise by Jean-François Lyotard invites us to become philosophers, yes? And of course he was a French thinker, and I like this French continental philosophy. I think it sheds a lot of light, and obviously they were criticised for varying reasons. Some of the criticism was warranted, but they were definitely deep thinkers. Yes, so we can think of Gilles Deleuze, for example, and Jean Baudrillard. So he talks about simulacra and simulation. Yes. He was definitely an interesting philosopher. I haven't actually read any of his works, but maybe one day I'll read one of them. Here he is, Jean Baudrillard. Yeah, you notice how the world is sick, yes, and the world is a bit sick at the moment. We need to heal our world. We need to heal our reality. Who else? Jean-Paul Sartre, obviously. Michel Foucault. They were all interesting in their own ways. Yes, obviously they held dodgy views as well, and here I agree. Obviously, with this criticism, they were dodgy. Yes, but when we just think about their thought, yes, when we address their thought, their ideas, their books. And we can find a lot of interesting ideas within these books, yes. So, but let's go back to Lyotard, yes. Why should we philosophize? Yes. Well, from my experience, and from what I can gather, based on my experience so far with philosophy itself and with my experience of living, we start to philosophize when we notice a break from reality. We notice that something is off. Yes, there's something has gone wrong. Yes, we have lost the other. We have lost ourselves and our place in language, I think. And this is where we start to philosophize, I think. And philosophy strives to address this crack in reality that constantly appears. This is always taking place, yes, and it's never the case that we have figured it all out, that everything is solved. We know everything about the universe. We know exactly how the universe functions. We know everything about the cosmos. There's no mystery. I mean, I think this is a false worldview. There's always a change taking place. Yes, the unity is always lost, and when unity is lost, meaning is lost, and because meaning is lost, philosophy rises to the surface again in order to recover this meaning, and this is why philosophy is so important. So important, definitely. Another reason why philosophy is so important is because by philosophy we are able to constantly question, yes, our presuppositions, and as we get older, we notice that the previous views we held were incorrect. Yes, they were based on ignorance and a lack of knowledge. And by questioning our presuppositions, we can, notice new aspects to reality, and by being more in tune with our language, we can get closer to the truth, yes? And here, when I was writing this, I remember I associated truth with unconcealment. So this is a Heideggerian conception. So Heidegger talked about truth as unconcealment. Something is unconcealed, something is revealed. And And the philosopher, yes, he's someone who is an eternal beginner. He's constantly beginning things anew. Yes, so I think philosophy is definitely relevant, and it's yes, philosophy is definitely important, and a beautiful subject. Can I even call it a subject? Philosophy is just philosophy, yes. So, but let me address kind of the problems that I have with philosophy, because I think that the criticism is warranted as well at the same time. And this is my interpretation when it comes to the negative side of philosophy, we could say, yes. So this is my interpretation. So sometimes philosophy it's circular, yes. Sometimes when we philosophize, we actually never get anywhere. We just come back round in a circle. So we strive to grasp reality. Perhaps we notice something new, but then there's a wall again. There's another wall, and we come back round in a circle. Yes, we're back to square one, we could say. I like this idiom, this English idiom. We're back to square one, and I guess this is basically a fact of life. We're never able to gain a totally objective view, yes, outside of ourselves. We can't escape our subjective experience, yes. I guess this is my take. And this kind of abyss, yes, this abyss, it's incomprehensible. We can't fully understand it, yes. We can gain more consistency, we can become more coherent, but there's always something lacking, yes. And from a practical perspective, if you like to philosophize, etc., it's important to perhaps branch out to other subject areas. Science, history, etc., politics, even. Go out to the real world, become engaged in practical affairs, interact with people, and when you do this, more truth will be revealed. This is perhaps my interpretation, my experience so far when it comes to philosophy, and this binding effect, yes. By binding, I mean how philosophy binds different subjects together. It's maintained by Jesus Christ, in my opinion. This is my experience, my personal experience. I think Jesus is the source, yes, of this truth, of this truth with the capital T, yes, rather than truth with a small t, yes, with a lowercase t. And perhaps because I'm saying this, I'm not a philosopher anymore, because a true philosopher would not fall back on Jesus, yes, he would constantly question, he would constantly be a skeptic. I guess this criticism is warranted, yes, but I think you can be a philosopher and also believe in Jesus. I don't really see an issue here. A lot of the great philosophers of the past were Christians as well, so I don't see a contradiction here, really. But yes, moving on, and now I'd like to talk about Heraclitus, yes, because I think Heraclitus is key. Heraclitus is key. Heraclitus was a pre-Socratic philosopher, and a lot of other thinkers are noticing the importance of Heraclitus. So, thinkers from the past who died recently, and thinkers who are still alive. So we can think of E. Michael Jones. He is a brilliant philosopher, I think. He's an American Catholic philosopher. He talks about Heraclitus. Heidegger talked about Heraclitus. Dugin talks about Heraclitus. So I'm sure there's others. And this is what Lyotard said about Heraclitus, yes, and the origins of philosophy. And he really put the words in my mouth here by what he said. So I'd like to share this with you. So to put it another way, the sole fact that philosophy has a history, or rather is history, itself has a philosophical meaning, since the breaks, the cuts that segment and give rhythm to philosophical reflection and spread it across time, just like a history or story, these breakages prove precisely that meaning escapes us, that the philosopher's effort to gather the dust of meaning in the hollow of meaningful words always needs to be started over again. Husserl said that the philosopher is an eternal beginner. However, this discontinuity points paradoxically to a continuity. That's a mad quote there. Yes, it's this paradox, right? Because when we think about philosophy and the history of philosophy, there's constant breaks. Yes, new systems of thought appear. Reality is perceived in a new way. Kind of, I guess, like in science. Yes, there are these new scientific revolutions, and the same takes place in philosophy. There's a new kind of consensus, and then this consensus breaks down, and something new appears. So there's always this continuity and discontinuity. And Heraclitus, yes, he noticed that unity is in multiplicity. So in philosophy, we have this concept of the one and the many. There is the one, but there is also the many. And this is a paradox, yes? How can there be a one, but also a many at the same time? So when you think of humanity, for example, there's one humanity, but then there are different humanities. There are different ethnicities. This is a paradox, yes. We are all human. We share some humanity, but then we are also different, yes. And this harmony and contradiction, it occurs at the same time. So, and I guess this is the main paradox, yes. It's kind of this unity and multiplicity. I guess we're constantly striving to achieve this unity in the multiplicity, yes. So there's a lot of thinkers out there saying that all is one, we're all one, universal love, we're all one, etc. I mean, yes, I agree, but we aren't all one at the same time. Right? There are differences, yes, between ethnicities, between different parts of the world. And we need to take this into account, yes. We need to take into account the many when we make this judgment, yes. So this is why I ended my article here with this quote from Heraclitus, yes. He said, "From the strain of binding opposites comes harmony." That's another, yes, brilliant statement made by Heraclitus. So that's the end of my video. I don't want to talk any longer. I don't want to waste your time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something interesting as you were listening. If you're still listening now, I appreciate it. I appreciate you tuning in to the JJ Think Tank and spending your time here. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. If you are a new viewer, it will help me grow the channel and spread more vital information that I think will help a lot of people out there. And yes, that's all for today. Once again, thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. Take care.